Hey YouTube, welcome back to week number 3 of the college football season preview. This is your man Dylan come to you once again with another week of college football, so that means another video. So my feature matchup of this week features a matchup that we hardly ever see, and that would be the 16th ranked Texas A&M Aggies going to the 8th ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish. That would be a 7:30 kick exclusively on NBC. So let's go ahead and get started with this matchup, along with discussing a bunch of other matchups before we get this college football weekend started. So, week 2 recap, number 11 Illinois got a nice win going to 2-0 with a big win taking on the ACC team out in Duke. Iowa State beats Iowa 16-13 to get their third straight Cyhawk Trophy in the last 4 years. Major upsets, Baylor beats SMU in double overtime. USF, now ranked in the top 25, which we'll discuss in a moment, beat then ranked number 13th ranked Florida 18-16. Mississippi State downs number 12 Arizona State in Starkville 24-20. Oklahoma clamps down on Michigan, beats them by 11 in Norman. And Oregon, Penn State, and Ohio State all win easily, with Penn State and Ohio State putting on some shutouts against far inferior opponents. So, I'm going to break down the top 25 into two parts. Of course, the top 12 are the teams that make the college football playoff. The other teams, sorry, have a nice day. Top 3 did not change. Ohio State, Penn State, LSU. Oregon climbed up 2 spots. The big dip was that Clemson went down to number 12 after having a sluggish outing against the University of Troy. Florida State is now in the top 10. And Illinois is also in the top 10 for the first time since 2001. So, and as you can see, Notre Dame is 0-1. They had a bye week last week, and they're still in the top 10. Seems kind of crazy, but that's how college football rolls. Then, on the flip side, South Florida jumps up 15 spots to land at number 18 in this week's AP poll, sitting there at 2-0, winning against Boise and winning against Florida. Oklahoma and Tennessee and Utah all jump up at least 5 spots each. Michigan jumps down to number 23. Missouri hops into the top 25 now at number 25, and so did Auburn. Alabama's in there at number 19, which is a little bit worthy of note. Tennessee hops up to number 15 before they have their massive showdown against Georgia. So that is the second half of the AP poll. Now, let's go ahead and get started. So, there are going to be 4 matches I'm going to discuss this week. I'm going to discuss Wisconsin and Alabama. I'm going to discuss Georgia going to Tennessee, which will be a fun one. Florida and LSU. And then, of course, the feature matchup, which is Texas A&M going to Notre Dame. So let's go ahead and get started. All right. In the first matchup, we have got Alabama taking on 2-0 Wisconsin. Alabama won 73-0, their largest win in program history. They are 18.5-point favorites. I think it's Joe Tessitore and Jesse Palmer on the call for this one. I mean, Wisconsin, the thing with them is that they really haven't been relevant in a hot minute. I mean, it's been a long time since they have been like a national title contender, let alone a Big Ten contender. So them taking on Alabama, of course, this is the second matchup of the home and home with them, where they played in Wisconsin last year. Alabama beat the crap out of them. I imagine the same thing's going to happen here. But here's the thing. Beating a team twice in back-to-back years is very difficult. This will be a noon kick on ABC. I just think Wisconsin is into perhaps bring some notoriety to their program for the first time, at least under Luke Fickell and stuff like that. So I'm going to take Alabama at home, but I absolutely will have Wisconsin covering that 18.5-point spread. I think this is going to be tight to the very finish, and I wouldn't be surprised if this game could have went into overtime as well. But give me Alabama; they'll go to 2-1. It's before they set themselves their game up in a couple weeks when they take on Georgia. But go ahead and give me Alabama in this one. All right, my second matchup will be the game of the day, at least in the 3:30 window. So, Tennessee hosting Georgia in Knoxville. Both teams are 2-0. Both teams are in the top 20 of the AP poll. Georgia looked kind of sluggish, taking on a FCS opponents in Austin Peay, only winning 28-6. Tennessee put up 72 points, by far their most points scored in school history. Their new quarterback, Aguilar, is absolutely terrific. They had 5 rushing touchdowns on 259 yards. I mean, they looked the part, and I just have that feeling that something might be going on in Rocky Top that we didn't anticipate after seeing Nico Amaliava leave for UCLA. Chris Fowler and Kirkstreet will be on the call for this one. Game day will be there. Tennessee, though, is quite a large underdog. I'm going to take a look here. I think last I checked it was at 7.5, and that has now dipped down to 3.5. I think this is going to be something. And the big thing though is that we don't know who Georgia is because we saw that they lost their quarterback. He left for Miami, so Stockton came into the helm here, and we just don't know what he brings. Like Tennessee, they had 4 touchdowns on the ground last week, but against inferior opponent, that should happen. So with this one, I think I'm gonna go with my gut with this one. I want to take the Volunteers at home to get a quote unquote upset win. They're going to defeat Georgia, go to 3-0 in the season, be in strong contention in the SEC for a SEC championship appearance, and definitely a shot at the college football playoff come December and January. So give me Tennessee. They'll go to 3-0 and have them dethroning Georgia in this one. All right, Saturday Night Football was supposed to be, on paper, a great matchup before Florida blew it against South Florida. So it's going to feature the Florida Gators at 1-1 taking on the third-ranked LSU Tigers in Baton Rouge. Sean McDonough and Greg McElroy will be on the call for this one. LSU right now is a 7.5-point favorite, so that is up from 6.5 on the screen there. Garrett Nussmeier looked sluggish in a kind of a piss poor effort against Louisiana Tech. They only forced 1 turnover on defense against, again, an inferior opponent. But that's better than what Florida did by losing to a South Florida team that was scrappy, had wanted to win more. And this is unusual coming from a Florida team that, I mean, Florida hasn't really been good since Tim Tebow's been there, but just not having the will to go out and like try to dominate and win the game on their terms is just something you don't hear from out of an SEC team like Florida. Not to mention their rush offense was horrific. Their DJ Lagway, their quarterback, just didn't look the part. I'm not a big fan of his, to be perfectly honest. I thought he was going to be good. I'm more of a fan of South Carolina's quarterback and Lenore Sellers, but that's a different conversation for a different time. And who knows if he's going to hold up his end of the bargain of being a solid quarterback in the SEC. But in this one, I think this is a no-brainer. I'm going to take the LSU Tigers at home in this one. I definitely have them covering a 6.5-point spread. I mean, 7.5-point spread. So I just think this one, it just won't be close. Florida just doesn't look good. I think they're going to need to have a strong conversation in the middle of the season about letting go of Billy Napier because he just doesn't look good. His image has been tarnished by a lot, and it comes on the heels of them losing to South Florida. So that just puts them right on the wall for them. But give me LSU at home. They're going to win this one and go to 3-0 on the season. All right. And then my final matchup is my feature matchup of the week, featuring out of the SEC, the Texas A&M Aggies, ranked number 16th in the land, taking on the 8th ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish. This is a night kick, 7:30 on NBC. Noah Eagle and Todd Blackwood should be on the call for this one in South Bend. Notre Dame had a rare week off in week number 2, so they're still sitting there at, well, I have 1-0 there. It should be 0-1, so that's my bad. But 0-1 and A&M is in there at 2-0. Here's the thing. Anytime, at least historically, A&M has gone on the road or been at home and played a quality opponent, it just hasn't been pretty. Most of that came under Jimbo Fisher, which they had to pay a crap ton of money to let him go. So I think with that going on, then I think A&M is going to try to rewrite the narrative in this one. I have them going to South Bend and winning this one, so I'll have Notre Dame falling to 0-2 on the season, be very much out of the CFP picture, and probably struggling to make a bowl game. But give me A&M on the road in this one to go get a night win in South Bend. I have them winning this one. I definitely, of course, A&M's going to cover the 6.5-point spread. But go ahead and give me A&M on the road in this one to go get the job done there. All right, it's a fast video, but that is going to do it for me here in North Carolina to talk about week number 3 in college football. Next week, we've got some pretty decent matchups featuring a night matchup in the Big Ten between two of the most unlikely ranked teams in Illinois and Indiana. Let's see if those two teams are any good come next week. But go ahead and look for a new video next Wednesday talking about college football. But until then, this is your man doing signing off for week number 3 in college football. Like the video, comment your thoughts, let me know what you think, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week.